Hello, everyone, and welcome to this presentation where we are going to see how to create your own robotics class based on ROS. And it has to be a ROS Live class. But before we start, what do we mean by a robotics live class? Well, we are talking about a class about teaching robotics by using ROS, of course, and that is delivered online. So it's not something that you deliver on your class, it's something that you deliver for the people on the internet. Then it's also delivered in real time. So at the time that you are doing your class, delivering the class, the people is connected to you so they can see that in real time. And the most important point, the students are going to practice with you what you are teaching on that class at the same time that you are teaching that. This is the most important point for this robotics live class. So what do we mean? We mean about that, that it's a practical class. We are not talking about a typical class with a boring sequence of slides, but instead it's something like what you see on the video here. It's a live class where there is simulations that are moving robots. We are executing programs. The perception is taking place. We react in front of that. And all the people that is attending this is going to perceive that from you, so get this information from you, and also they are going to practice the same things that you are doing on the screen. Then let's move. Yeah, so what are the main points that we are going to learn today in this webinar? It's about how to build that live class material. This is the first thing. And then the second one part, we are going to see how to deliver the class. So how you can, once you have this class that you want to deliver in this super cool way that interacts with the attendance to the live class and the practice. So how can we put this online? So that's the second point that we are going to see today. And then by getting all this, learning how to create a live class material and how to deliver, you can believe, you can become a YouTube robotics teacher superstar. You know about those YouTube superstars. So instead of doing videos about the stupid things, we are going to do YouTube videos about the cool things that are really changing the world. That is, for example, robotics subjects. Okay, so let me tell you that if you stay with me until the end of the presentation, I will share with you a complete ROSject. That's a ROS project with all the material that we have delivered at the latest live class. So in our company, the Construct, we create this concept of live class on YouTube, and we do one live class every Tuesday at 6 p.m. CEST. And so we did one last Tuesday, and we created a lot of material, simulations, code, notebooks. So if you stay with me, I will provide that information, that complete material to you in a very simple way. And by the way, who is this guy who's talking to you? Who am I? My name is Ricardo Tellez, and I am the CEO of the Construct. That is a company where we are developing tools that allow you to program your robots with ROS in a very easy way, and also to learn about ROS, so you can become actually a ROS developer. And why I'm talking to you about that is because I already have a year experience delivering the weekly ROS live class that I talked to you. So here you can see two pictures, one from the first live class. This one is from the last class that we had this week. And along this way, we have learned a lot about how to do this, and we have improved our method about how to do ROS live classes. So you're going to see that here. Let's go. Okay, so the first point, remember, I mentioned 2 points. First one is how to build the live class material. And that's it. So what is this material that I'm talking about? Well, so we want the people practice programming robots in ROS. And for that, they need basically 3 things. The first thing is the Jupyter notebook. This is a notebook is like a document, electronic document that you are going to provide to the attendants to the class, and this document contains the instructions about the class, or like the things that you would put on the slide, but more better, because it will contain code, it will contain the videos, images, etc. So it's a lot more interactive. So it's the document that describes the subject of that live class. Then we'll have gazebo simulations that are the robot simulations that we are going to use to practice what is on the notebook. And then you can provide also some ROS code, that this ROS code will act as an example for the attendants or as a template that the attendants have to fill by following your instructions during the live class. So the first thing is the Jupyter Notebook. Yeah, so what I already mentioned, the proper documentation, and it usually provides also by step-by-step guide, so the people who is reading this notebook can afterwards reproduce your live class and get the same results if possible. It is interesting that you mix on this notebook text with images, with videos, and with code also. So then the experience of learning, it will be a lot clearer and richer. Then the gazebo simulation, so there will be the simulation of the robot that we are going to use. And we are going to use this for practicing the concepts that we are teaching on the live class. Then finally, we'll have the ROS code, as I mentioned. That is usually I use the ROS code. I provide some already code that is working, that acts as a support to the subject that I want to teach. But then I made the attendants to the class to create their own packages, their own files, and etc. And sometimes if the code is too complicated, then I provide already the code. So the people has to copy and paste into the area for creating the packages. But by copy pasting, then I go and follow an explanation about each part of that code, so they will understand what it's doing. Okay, so we have. I'm not going to teach you how to build this ROS code, how to build these ROS simulations, and how to build a Jupyter notebook. I just explained you that you have to do that. And here we have a complete webinar on this link that you can check here. It's a complete webinar that teaches you how to actually create the code, how to create the simulations, and how to create a Jupyter notebook. In that webinar, I also provide some resources, so you don't have to create your simulations, for example. I provide some links where you can download simulations and you can use them already. And the same for the ROS code and the notebooks. Have a look at it if you want to get more details about how to actually create that material. Okay, so once you have created the notebooks, the simulations, and the code, you had to package all that inside what we call a ROSject. A ROSject is just a ROS project that contains all those things. It contains notebooks, like in this picture, you can see the notebook on the left-hand side. Then it contains some code, that is the code that you can see on the center or area, and then contains some simulations, as you can see on the right-hand side, the simulation of the car. Then on the part beneath is there is a lot of several shells that you can use for compiling, executing, etc. But that's not part of the ROSject, it's part of the platform. So you get the notebook, the code, and the simulation, and you package everything inside the ROSject. By using ROSject, what is interesting is that you can share all that with anybody in the world. So, and this sharing is very simple. It's just by providing a link. So if you create a ROSject, then you can share that complete material by using a single link. And when you share this link, whoever who receives this link, it will be able to reproduce the same things that you have created on your ROSject. So this person who receives the ROSject link, he will have access to the same notebook, the same code, and the same simulation. And it will work in the same conditions as it works for you. So that's super convenient because you can be doing a live class with anybody in the world. Just share the link of the ROSject, and then that other person that is attending your class is able to execute in the same conditions as you are executing on the live class in real time. So that's super powerful, as you can understand. And what is interesting about this process of the ROSject is that it doesn't require any installation. So the person who receives the link will just access to a web platform that provides the whole environment. So this whole environment is already provided on a web browser, so that person doesn't have to install anything, can use Windows, Mac, or Linux computers, and execute the same things that you're doing. Also, let me tell you that if you have created this code, these notebooks, simulations from a Git, what you are providing is already Git synchronized, so any changes can be updated afterwards. And finally, let me tell you that ROSjects can be downloaded to your own local computer. So in case that you don't want to use this web platform that allows you to open, so you can download it because it's just basically ROS packages. So you can download it and then execute in your own computer, provided that your computer has a proper ROS installation in there. Okay, so you have created your notebooks, simulations, code, you have packaged everything on a ROSject, and then you have shared. Then how do you do all this process of sharing and executing? Well, you can do that by using the ROS Development Studio. So in the ROS Development Studio, you can go there on that address that you can see beneath the images, and you can create all the material. You have some tools there on the ROS Development Studio for creating your notebooks, for creating your Gazebo simulations, seeing the results of your Gazebo simulations, creating your programs. You have an IDE, and you have all the tools of ROS in order to test your code and the result on the simulations. So the ROS Development Studio is the one that allows you to share this link of the ROSject. So you can distribute the ROSject to the attendants to the class. And also allows you to execute that in real time. So when you start a class, you open your ROSject in the ROS Development Studio and then start delivering the class. You follow your notebook, you start the simulations, execute the code, etc. And all the people who has received the link can also reproduce inside the ROS Development Studio the same notebook, the same simulation, the same code that you are doing. And of course, in order to do that, it's free. So you can do that without any problem. So you can see that it's super easy to start delivering a live class to anybody in the world by using this platform there. So we have reached the second point of this webinar. First point, remember, is how to create a material and distribute it to the attendants to the class. Okay, so you have created your notebook, simulation, ROS code. You have packaged everything inside the ROSject. Then you have shared this ROSject with the attendants to the live class. You have shared that, and then you haven't yet shared, because the share of the ROSject has to be done once you start the live class, and we are going to see in a minute how to do that. So you have created with the ROS Development Studio your ROSject, and it is ready to be shared with the attendants of the class, to the class. Okay, and so let's go and let's see how to actually deliver the live class. So first, what would you need in order to deliver that? Well, you will need a webcam. Let me share with you the one that I am using here. This is good quality enough and not so expensive. So you can have a look at that one. Of course, you can use any other that you want, but I recommend you that one is the one that I use usually. Then a mic, that's very important to have very good sound, because otherwise the people get annoyed about the noise or the bad quality of the audio. So that's why I'm recommending you this one. That is a very good mic. It's the one that I'm using also. And of course, you will need to have a YouTube account. So you need the account because we are going to deliver the class on YouTube. So for that, you can go to that address that I have put there and create an account to have your own channel for delivering your classes. Okay, so let's imagine that you already have your account, you have all the material. Then how do you create a live class event so that people can know that there is an event there is a live class, and they can attend at some predetermined point? Well, so I have put here all the steps, but let's do something more interesting. So let's do a demo, an actual demo. Okay, so let me change sharing the screen from this point into another one where you can see how to do it. So I'm going to do it live, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to share another window of channel, okay? So in this case, so how would I, starting from my YouTube channel that I have already created, as I mentioned before on that link, then how do I start scheduling an event? Well, it's very easy. You have to go here to your icon and then go to YouTube Studio. Then when you come here, actually that's not the actual option that I usually do. So this is new in YouTube, and so let me see, because yeah, so I'm going to change to Studio Classic, okay? Because this is the new environment that YouTube has created. Okay, that's it. So that's the Studio Classic. Okay, let me go back to my home, sorry, and let's start again from the first step. Okay, so you are here in your channel, and then you go to here to, okay, so it's not allowing me to have the classical way of creating a new event. It should be another option here that is not YouTube beta, the YouTube Studio beta. Okay, so let's see how to do it here. Let's go to YouTube Studio beta. And then here, let's change to the classic way. Because here I don't know this, it's options. I cannot see the option here for creating a new event. Okay, so let's go Creator Studio Classic. And then here, let's go to live streaming, this option here. Then here you can see that there are events. So let's go to events. And then, okay, so then you have to enable live streaming as an option. But this is only for the first time, okay? Select your country, and then, so you can select some of the options that you have here. Okay, so this is in case that you have to need to, wait here. Yeah, so this is for verification. And yes, so yeah, so I can, okay, so let's put it, the telephone number here, and that's it. Then you should get a verification code that I'm opening here on my phone and getting this verification. This is just for the first time, okay? So it's not for any other time that you want to schedule future live classes. Okay, so we got it. And that's it. Okay, no, so it's not available. It's not available. Okay, so yeah, we have some problem here because it was supposed to have access to this, to the events element, and I'm not having this. So how can we solve this? I wanted to show you the exact way of doing it. And let me see if I can find another way of doing it. Instead of using this account, let me see if we can use the account of the construct. Let me just check a second, just a second, and configuring here. Okay, so let's come here. Let me just check. So that I have the because I don't want to show you all the inner workings of our and inner configurations of our channel. That is why I don't want to. So I didn't want to share everything here with you. But anyway, so we have it here now. So I have already checked. So let me just switch sharing my construct channel. Okay, so this is our the construct channel. So I am here in live streaming. As you can see, that is the construct from our logo. It's a different one. Then you will reach that point once you get the certification done. And then the only thing that you have to go is to go to events. Then in the events, you have that we have this webinar, that is the one that we are doing right now. And it's super simple. It's just come here and create a new live event. That's it. So I don't understand all the complications of the other account, but this was my personal account. And so I apologize for the inconvenience. But anyway, so we have here the event, and what do we have to do is to put a title here, my next event, and then indicate here the day that you are going to do it, for example, in 1 week from now, and one time, so 7 p.m., for example, that's okay. Then you should set some description. It's my event description, and set some tags if you want. And finally, indicate that it's going to be public or not. Maybe you only want to put it public, maybe 2 days later, or maybe just right now. But see, if you put it public right now, then it will be published and it will be notified to all the subscribers of your channel whenever you have start to get some subscribers. So once you have this, you only have to press here, create event. And that's it. So now your event is here, my next event, it's here. And yeah, so some people of my team is also working, creating the next live class at the same time. So that's why. Then you can see that here you have some, that's a general image. So it's interesting if you press to edit here and then change the thumbnail, so the image that you get there. So you can press here, for example, in this button, and then provide with another image that you can download from any place of your hard drive. For example, I'm putting this file here. So let's see, for example, then adjust or whatever the image. So let's save this. Then now our event has been created. It has been sent a notification to all the subscribers by publishing it. And now we are finishing the configuration by setting a nice image as a thumbnail. Great. So you can go to the view page, to the watch page, by pressing here. So you will see how it looks now, your event. So your event is already live and is here with the image that you have put until you start. Okay, so that's the first part, how to create the live stream in advance. let me know if you have any question on the chat that is beside this presentation, okay? So we have done everything, all the steps here. Great. So we have the live stream set up for our next live class in a few days. Great. Now, how do we start the live class? So imagine that it reaches the day where you are going to start with the live class. You are going to start teaching. Okay, so then you have to go to this Creator Studio and press the button Start Hangouts on Air. So let's do it. Let's do it. Now, let me change again here to this. So you have to repeat all the processes until you reach here, your page of the events. Okay, so it should be here, the list. Let me refresh this. Upcoming. Okay, here it is. Yeah, because I was showing the ones that are running now. Okay, so here is my next event, and then whenever the day arrives that you have to provide you to do your next your live class, then you have to come to this page, the events, and here press this button here that is Start Hangouts on Air. Okay, so when you start the Hangouts on Air, then it will start a new event and start retransmitting live. So let me check here that we have proper configuration. Okay, so that's it. I cannot show you more, but basically then what you have to do is to press the button of a Start Hangout here, and then on the next screen that will appear, you have to check that the microphone is being detected. So you approach your mouth and then check that the mic is working. Otherwise, you may be believing that you are talking and the people is listening to you, but it doesn't work. And also you will see if the camera is detecting or not, because your face will be showing. And whenever there will be a button beneath here, and whenever you are ready, then you press the Start Broadcast button, and that's it. Then it will start. Okay, and then once you have reached that situation, you can start talking and start presenting your live class. So it's good if you get a presentation, an introduction about yourself, about the subject that you are going to talk today, and that's all, a short one. Whenever you feel like you want to start with the material that you have created for this live class, then just press the button, the green button that is Share a Screen, and then share your browser. So you have to share your browser with the attendants, and then your browser will be shown to all the audience instead of the camera. And then in your browser, you should open the ROSjects, and then share the ROSject with the students. So let me do that to you so you can see how it works. Okay, so now I'm going to open the ROSjects, and then you're going to see my projects that I have here. For example, the one from the previous live class, this one. So you can share this screen with the attendants, and then at any point in time, you press this button, Share ROSject. Then you can get the link, and this is the link that you have to share with your attendants. So you copy this, and then you have to go to the chat that is beneath the YouTube presentation. So if we go here, so I'm going to do a meta presentation. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I see myself, as you can see. I see myself here. So here beneath, there is a chat. And here is where you can just copy paste the link of the ROSject. Okay, so now it doesn't allow me because I'm not allowed to share links unless I am the one that is doing the presentation, and I get into the presentation as a viewer now. But I should be able to go to the presentation page following the links here of the event, and then get to the chat of the presentation and share your link. Okay, so you have shared the link, and then all the attendants are able to click on that link and get a copy of this ROSject. So they will be, by clicking on the link, they will be directly redirected to the ROS Development Studio and get a copy of that. Then after that, you only have to open the ROSject. And then after a few seconds, you will get the machine with this material. So let me say no. Then here you will see the notebook that I did prepare for this class. So this is the material that I prepared for that class. It was about reinforcement learning. Okay, so I put a lot of code, yeah, because that was complex. And then some information about any other events that we are doing. The simulations are here, located here, and you can launch it. And anybody of the people of your that is attending your class will be able to do the same steps as I am doing, and everything will be executed in the same way because you know they are using a web browser and the execution doesn't depend on the computer of the attendant. So now it's a simulation that is starting. So you can proceed with your explanation following your ROSject here. And yeah, so that's it. You start describing your package, describing the subject that you want, executing the simulations, etc., etc. And the people that is listening is reproducing the same things at the same time. So that's it. So that the final point will be to keep an eye on the chat. So you can come here to the chat at any point in time here and check that there is no question from the people. Okay. So let's continue with this. Let me close the chat because otherwise I'm receiving the same information that I am sending to the YouTube. Okay. Yeah, so the thing is that you will need to practice a little bit before the first live class. So otherwise, you can get overwhelmed about so many things to do. So what I recommend is that you prepare some fake events just for you and your friends, and then you do it a couple of times at least in order to get used to this, because there are a lot of things about changing different screens, showing now this your camera, now sharing the ROSject, etc., etc. So please practice a little bit. And what I wanted to say is that this procedure is only for the brave. It's only for the brave. What do I mean? Yeah, so doing a live class like this requires a lot of work. This is not just a few slides that you put there and people listen to you and that's all. This is, you have to be sure that your code works. You have to be sure that the simulation is properly configured. You have to be sure that the whole process following the notebook is going to work. So in order to do that, you need to do a lot of work. And then if you are expecting only to create a few slides, then it's not going to work. You are not going to take advantage of how powerful this live class where the students that attend to it are practicing at the same time. And so they learn at amazing speed by doing this. Then before I finish, I would like to say that you can apply these ROSject things to your official classes, instead of using this for live classes, you can also do the same thing, the same procedure, but for your official classes. For example, this is one of the things that I do at the University of La Salle here in Barcelona, where I teach some courses on robot navigation. Then I prepare some ROSjects, and I provide this to the students, and I am teaching there on the screen, but at the same time, the students are doing the same things as I am doing on the screen, and they are practicing. So this method is not only limited to the online. For the online is super cool because you can reach hundreds, thousands of people at the same time. But you can also apply the same to this class at the universities. That's it. So just wanted to remind you that we do a ROS Developers Live class every Tuesday at 6 CEST. And here you have the link in case that you would like to attend to any of them. It's every Tuesday, every Tuesday, every Tuesday. Okay, if you stay here with me until the end, that's what I promise. So here you have the link of the ROSject that I have just opened into the screen. You just saw it. That contains some code about how to test different robots that want to learn the same reinforcement learning task. So in case that you have different robots that need to do the same task, how do you train them using reinforcement learning while keeping the most of the algorithms for both of them? So avoiding to change as much as possible. And that's it. So in case that you have any question, I am here. I would like to have so the chat here, but I'm going to use another computer here that is helping me. Thank you, Yuhon, for your help. And let me see here. There is a question by Magda Bukaska that says, instead of live class, you can do the same thing just to record for distribution later. Yeah, that's it. That's right. You can do it, of course. The thing is that it's not so powerful because it's so you will not be able to see on real time if the attendants are having problems. So if they are having some problem, they can put the question on the chat, and then you can react. You can explain something better. You can improve something on real time on your code, etc. But definitely, yes, you can do it. It depends on the scope that you want to reach. Okay, so just to let you know, our live classes are recorded automatically by YouTube. So they are published afterwards in our channel directly. And then anybody can watch them afterwards. This is one of the interesting features of YouTube. So it's recording your live event, and then it's available afterwards. And you don't have to do anything. It will be directly published. Then Magda is indicating here that she agrees on my explanation, but it requires less courage. Yes, that's right. That is right. Yeah, but I would recommend you go with the courage. Please have a look at our first live classes and then check the latest one. You will see that we are improving, and going better. So get the courage, go forward, move forward, and don't care about the first one. And you will be improving. So what I would recommend you is that you get the courage. Of course, if it's too much for somebody, then start recording first, and then afterwards, then you can, after a few ones that you feel more comfortable by doing it recorded, then move to the live one. Okay, any other question? Here on the video on the side, you can see one of the live classes. Hey, Epson, one question from Epson. Hello, Epson, how you doing, man? Epson is one of the teachers of that has done some live classes here with the construct. Super interesting about FlexB, for example. Super interesting. So here a question from Epson. He says, hi, is there a way to have a live stream using two different cameras? Yes, there is. So there is a deep configuration there on YouTube. You can do many cameras, as many as you want, and then you have to have another computer that is kind of checking which one, and another person that supports you. But you can do it. Magda says, is a license or subscription to required to run a class, or are free accounts eligible? Yes, so you can, for the ROS Development Studio, free accounts, it's okay. The only drawback of the free accounts is that they run only on 2 cores computers. But as you can see, all the live classes that we have done have been working using a 2 core computers. And it's more than enough for this, let me tell you. Unless you want to do something very, very special in deep learning in real time with complicated things. Epson says one showing the speaker and probably the other showing the screen. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's related to the same question before. Yes, that's it. Any other question? People? Lagan Kapoor. Okay, hello, Lagan. Lagan is one of the ROS ambassadors of the program of the construct, and here he is. He says, you need a license guide with low cost. Okay, I don't understand that comment, Lagan. If you can elaborate a little bit more. Yeah, maybe I can better understand you. You need a license, guys, with low cost. Okay. Cryptic. Okay, any other question? I don't know. That's very strange. I'm keeping seeing that there is more and more people that is joining the webinar, but we're about to finish because we reached already the questions. So that's funny that you are getting here to the webinar when we are about to finish. Okay, so I'm going to wait for a minute more. Here a question from Magda that says, do you know what bandwidth requirements are for ROSjects? Yes, it's about with 1 megabit per second, it's okay. It's okay. I have been using with very low bandwidth. And then what happened is that the people that if there is a lot of people there are a lot of students connected to the same network, then it goes a little bit slow if there is a lot of people, I mean. But I'm using directly at the university with 20 students, for example. And sometimes it depends on the network. You can see a little bit of delay of some things, but it's more than enough, really, more than enough. Just have a look, just have some tests and let me know. Okay, Lagan is clarifying. Sir, I tell to Magda Bujaska that she needs a license which are really less in cost. Okay. I think ROSjects not work with even 2 megabytes. No. It does. I have measured because you are not sending information all the time. Just when you do something. So, and then when you are editing your code, that's minimal. Then the only thing that you need a lot of megabytes is when you are the simulation is running and it takes a lot of elements in there. But for example, in this case that we are seeing here on the drone, so there is a single drone that is moving around. So that's the only thing. That's the change in the position of the drone that is being sent between our servers and the computer of the person who is visualizing it. So that's very small necessity, very small. It could happen, for example, it could be more necessary when you are opening RBIS, because you can open RBIS in our system. Then RBIS requires sometimes a lot more of refresh, and that's a moment where you need more information. Or if you are using RQT-plot to plot something, data that goes very, very fast, in those cases, you will need more speed, but those are just punctual cases. And the great majority of the time with 1 megabyte, it's okay. Okay, so I think that that's all for today. Okay, one more question from Epson in the nick of time. One more question: are shared projects still linked with the original? For example, can you affect changes that will be reflected in already shared projects? That's a very good question that Epson knows the answer, but he is answering in order to clarify to the audience. Very good point, Epson. Very good. Very good. So the question of Epson means if I share my project with you, then any change that I do in my project will be reflected in your copy. And the answer is no, because it's a copy. It's a separate copy. So every person who gets the copy is its own copy and is completely detached from the original one. And also the changes that the person who receives the copy is doing are not transferred to the person, to the person who has received, who has created originally the ROSject. The only way that you can link those projects yet is by using Git. So if the code that you have in your ROSject it's uploaded, is pushed into a Git, then the person who has received the ROSject, it can also pull from the Git and get the changes, and vice versa. Because the ROSject, if the original ROSject was linked to a Git, then the person who received the ROSject, the ROSject is already linked to that Git, so they can be synchronized. Okay, Lagan says, guys, let's join on other live class today by Construct. Okay, it's okay for today, Lagan, because yesterday we just have one. Today we have another one. No, sorry, it was on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday we had one. On Wednesday we have at the university, and today we have this webinar. So too many things for today. And I can see, yeah, I am going to distribute the reinforcement learning project. Sorry, yeah, so let me just clarify about that. It's to go. So in order to get the reinforcement learning project, just copy this address. Can you see this address? Or better, I'm going to copy this into the chat. Okay, so let me copy. It doesn't allow me the presentation to drag and drop. Okay, let's do it manually. So here it is. Then let's do kind of this. Okay, let's copy this, and then let's go to the, I cannot go there. So let me see how can I send that, because I don't remember where is this. Okay. Yeah, so I need to go here in the live now, then here webinar, here it is, and then I have to write here on the chat if it allows me. Yeah, here. There it is. Okay, there you got the link. Yeah, I didn't want to get here and do all the mess, but it's okay. Finally, I had to do it anyway. No worries. Everything for the super audience that we had here. Okay, so guys, so that's all. The only thing that you need to do in order to get that project is click on that link, and then you will get automatically redirected to the ROSjects. The copy will be done. In case that you don't have an account at the ROSjects, it will allow you to create a free account and then just go through. That's it. Okay. Okay, Lagan, thank you very much for the book about the training of our team. Thank you very much. And that is all. Remember that in case that you have more questions, you can put the questions beneath this video. Once it's finished, it will allow you to ask questions there, and then we'll answer the questions as they arrive. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending this, and see you around. Remember, next Tuesday, another live class. So Let me see. Yeah. So bye-bye, guys.